everybody, and welcome to episode 80 of the Let's Play world. I'm down here under the base doing a bunch of mining, and I just wanted to give you a quick update on what's going on down here. So it's been a while since I've brought you guys down here. You can see, still finding tons of diamonds and materials, and this big square that we've been working on, it's almost done. I just have this corner left to mine out. I was thinking about what to do with this space. I was thinking about cleaning it up a little bit and making the floor all one material. There's these holes in the ceiling, and I was thinking about either patching them or maybe filling them in with glass so that we can still see up there. And we have this massive, massive space that we could do something with. Not sure what. Another thing that's kind of cool is I've just been spamming torches everywhere, and I just started lining up the torches so that they keep everything spawn-proof, but they're really much more spaced out. It creates kind of a cool zigzag pattern. But here the light level does get down to 1 in between these spots here, but there's nowhere that is spawnable. So this is about as spread out as you can make your torches. And I think it looks really crazy just how big this space is. Today the first thing I want to work on is actually the zoo. We're going to run over here to where we built our bridge. And I want to start working on the path that we were talking about. Going to come along this way and going to split right here and poke through this hill and then head off in this direction as well. Oh, and by the way, I did get a third side on this big tall skyscraper here, so it is coming along really, really nicely. So for the zoo path, I'm thinking of using andesite, stone, cobblestone, and maybe some tuff. Tuff you can't turn into a slab, so it would have to be a full block, so we might use it a little more sparingly, but I think it would look different than the other paths that we have going on in the city and by our base. It sure feels like it rains a lot more in 1.18. So let me show you what I've come up with here. When we come into the gate, it's going to fork into 2 directions here. And if we go onto the left fork, you can see it kind of goes right through the hill here. And then it's going to jog a little bit to the left and come out the other side. Then the path kind of follows the landscape a little bit, so moves up and down. Still need to finish some of the path here. You can see there's a lot of terraforming and landscaping that needs to happen. Comes up around this way, and then it meets back up with the entrance. So basically all I did is made a big loop. And you can see, over here, and this space over here, and this space here, over here, tons of room for exhibits and things like that. Probably saw that I found like a ravine and lots of other little caves all throughout here, so we'll terraform all that and make it a little safer and smoother. We have a ton of room back here, and a bunch of room over here as well. even in here, we could do something in this space, or, we could punch something out here and build in this space. So we have lots and lots of options. And if you guys want to help me out, on my Discord, I posted a list of all of the biomes that I'm going to include in the zoo and all of the mobs that are going to go into those biomes. So if you guys want to check it out and give me some feedback or some opinions, I would really, really appreciate it. Before we move on to the next project, I want to grab the map real quick and update it so we can see what we've done. That looks so good. Really, really am happy with how that is turning out. So that is just a big circle, and as you can see, like I was pointing out, we have tons of room around here where we could, fork off of the main loop here. We could come back further and go across this river and use some of this space. So much room for the zoo. The last thing I want to do today is add a couple more buildings to our village. We basically have that side of the perimeter of the village complete, and this side here, if I put 2 more buildings, that would basically complete this side of the village. And I'm thinking about doing another large house and maybe like a small apartment building. In the last couple weeks, I've gotten a couple more recommendations on some music to listen to. Scott sent me a message basically talking about some different things that he likes. One of them, some of the bands he mentioned I was pretty familiar with, but one thing he brought up was kind of like nerd music. Some of you guys may be familiar with like Jonathan Colton or Axis of Awesome. Jonathan Colton, he did some music for like Portal and things like that. I think that's where a lot of people know him from. But yeah, both of those I'm very familiar with, and that's really cool, fun stuff. But he also mentioned some other bands like the 1975 and Wilco and Hosier and things like that. And yeah, those are really cool as well. I'm actually a pretty big fan of pop music. I love, of course, 80s pop music and 90s pop music and that kind of thing, just for the nostalgia of it all. But yeah, even newer pop music, a lot of it's always been garbage. That's just the way pop music works. But some of it's really, really cool. There is a band, speaking of pop music, that I've been listening to a little bit. Sort of a band. It's a couple of guys who you probably know, Anderson .Paak and Bruno Mars. They teamed up and they did a group called Silk Sonic. And they basically are playing kind of like throwback kind of funk music, like the kind of thing you would hear in 60s or 70s. Hope they do more, because there's a couple of really great songs on the album, and then a bunch of them that are just kind of okay. But the ones that are really good are very good. So yeah, Silk Sonic, if you've not heard of them, check them out. Scott also made a recommendation of some other bands and musicians that I had not heard of, but I haven't had a chance to check those out yet. Speaking of music I have never heard of before, I got a recommendation from Michael, who suggested a band called Timber Timber. I can't remember which order they go in. But yeah, really, really cool band that I've just never run across ever before. Kind of loungy, that sort of, like I was mentioning, trip hop music like Portishead and stuff like that. Kind of loungy in that kind of vibe. So you get like your, tremolo guitars and that kind of moody vibe. And the singer, he reminds me a little bit of the singer from The National, that kind of really low, kind of unrefined voice. Reminded me a little bit of like Nick Cave. Again, kind of not a perfect voice, but a really moody and cool voice. So yeah, that was a really great recommendation. Music is one of those things that is just so personal to people. And it reminds you of when you were growing up, and it reminds you of certain times of your life, and certain songs have certain meaning or bring up certain memories, things like that. A really cool thing. And yeah, it's really easy, I think, to get kind of snobby about music, to say this music is better than that kind of music and that sort of thing. And I used to be a little bit like that when I was younger and learning to play music, because, certain music is more complicated, or certain music, is more difficult to perform and things like that. But yeah, all kinds of music have different purposes. You know, there's music that's really interesting to listen to. There's music that's really emotional. There's music that's really great to dance to. There's music that's really great to relax to or kind of zone out. Some music is just kind of fun. And it's all good, I think. And it's raining again. So I've been doing a lot of thinking about the whole streaming thing, which I know I've been talking about for quite a while now, and starting to come up with some ideas. So what I'm thinking is, right now, what I do is basically 2 videos a week. I do a Let's Play and I do an SMP video. So about 8 videos each month. And what I'm thinking about doing is continuing to do 8 things a month, but kind of rearranging what things I do. So my initial thought was, instead of doing 1 Let's Play every week, I could do a Let's Play video 1 week and then a Let's Play stream the next week and just kind of alternate back and forth. And instead of doing an SMP every single week, what I would probably do is an SMP video 1 week and then a how-to video the following week. And that way, I would still make plenty of content, but it would be quite a lot more varied. I'm very curious what you guys think. You know, is that enough content? Is it too much? Is it a good balance of everything? Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Well, that one is looking really good. Now I just need to finish this building. There we go. This whole side of the village is completed, and we have basically a wall of leaves in between so we won't get any mobs sneaking in. Got this nice looking little house here, and then kind of this little dumpy little apartment building here. The nice flower pots on the windowsills. I'm gonna let the vines kind of grow over the side just to make it look a little bit older and worn. I think this style of building, if we do something similar maybe here, this will be a nice transition as we start to get into the city. And I think that's where I'm going to wrap this one up. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you had fun. Please like and subscribe if you want to follow along on the adventure. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.